Well, we come to video 7, this last video on 2 kings, but I assure you there's many other stories and examples there that are worthwhile in reading the book. And I've titled this last one, Are You Prepared to Lead During a Crisis? Okay, we've had a pandemic, but there's been global financial crisis, Asia meltdown, year 2000, and trust me, there's going to be more. We don't know what they are, but are you prepared to lead during a crisis? You know, when the pandemic came, it didn't surprise me, but I was disappointed again how many business people, even churches and ministries, wanted to bunker down and hide till it went away. Well, it went on a lot longer than people expected. And this happens all the time when there's an attack. You might have a health issue, a financial issue, lose a major client, want to bunker down. This is where you've got to re-envision yourself, get the right people to speak into your life, which we've covered in the previous couple of videos. You know, it's easy to lead in good times when everything's going well. Mind you, that's when a lot of bad practices and things happen. But great leaders rise in tough times and they really lead during a crisis. And out of that, they're able to lead other people. A crisis can be external, other people create it. It can be internal. It can be created internal by people, by situations. It can come from weather. It can be economic. It can be the pandemic, as we've talked about. So build your leadership now before these things arrive. I'm all for building into our lives by listening, learning and growing, so it's making us ready for the time, building the people we could bring into our loop when the time comes. Learn to be inspired. Be an inspired leader God has called you to be. He's called us to be leaders, and we are born for such a day as this. Whenever a crisis hits, we're born for such a day as this. Even in good times, we're born for such a day as this. Phil Cook, who's a TV movie producer, helps a lot of businesses and churches in the digital area, but producing video and so on. He says he gives 5 areas to equip you, and I'm going to read through these, and these will equip you for either your church or your business. By the way, he has a weekly blog which has some great input that will help you with practical things. If you go to info@cookmediagroup.com, info@cookmediagroup.com. Number 1, he says, the 5 areas to equip you. Number 1, reputation could be important. He says reputation matters. I remember this in my advertising days with McDonald's. We built campaigns to build the reputation of McDonald's because the media particularly were taking misinformed swipes across a whole range of stuff and influencing a bad attitude to McDonald's. So you need to build your reputation before, and you need to build it continually and ongoing. It's not a once-off thing that you do. Number 2, he says, where are the Churchills today? Churchill didn't waffle on during Hitler's relentless bombing. He didn't lecture and treat the English like children. He inspired them to rise to the occasion. And you know, in the advertising age, he did D.D.B. Needham and Gloria Jean's Coffees. In the times I was there were always issues coming up from externally, from the media, misinformation, even staff might create things. There was always some global thing happening with coffee supply and so on. And we need to continually get the staff together and lift the vision and rise to the occasion and move beyond. Number 3, he says, Phil Cook says, a crisis is not the time to forget creativity. You don't bunker down. It can be hard to think straight and be creative, but it's your roadmap out of where you are and where you're going and where you want to be. Number 4, why a crisis is a great time for a business or a church to advertise. You don't stop marketing, you just have to learn how to do it differently, get the right people to get you to think differently. In a crisis, people think about God if you're a church or ministry, and this is where you should rise to the occasion. In business, they want a problem solved. They've got different problems and they want them solved. He says, number 5, leaders, how a crisis can build your career. This is when you can rise to the occasion. I've got a friend who is taking on a major project in another region, and this is monster with a big budget. I'm excited for him. He's nervous, but he's actually excited to the opportunity. Man, will this build his career when he can bring about a result there? It's your willingness to step up when it gets tough is where you become in demand by other companies and by your own business. And then he said, I've got a bonus point as well, bonus number 6. And he says, Albert Einstein says, out of clutter, find simplicity. From discord, find harmony. In the middle of difficulty lies opportunity. How you meet the needs within crisis, therein lies your opportunity. Find out what the need is, what is the gap in the market, what people are screaming for, not what you think they need, and go for it. A crisis is not the opportunity to forget creativity, as one of his points says. So are you prepared to lead during a crisis? Because there'll be more of them. We don't know what they are. We don't know where they may come from. But get yourself ready to lead and have that war team that works with you to get ready for it and to ready to move when the time comes. And we're going to move to 1 Chronicles in the next series.